Hello students, welcome to this ICB 1 geometry lecture. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you all for being the part of this ICB 1 batch. Since you're an ICB 1, it shows that you must have studied well throughout the year and you have scored good marks in your semi-prelim exam. So today's session is on geometry parts of mathematics, and we'll see how can we do well in our final exam, that is the board exam. So we will discuss few tips from your board exam point of view. Okay, now first of all, since you have scored good in your semi-prelim exams, now your aim must be to get the maximum marks in the final exam, or we can say we want to score 100 out of 100 in the final exam. So what are the things that we should take care of to get 100 out of 100? Now, let me tell you, it is very much possible to score full marks in mathematics. As you must have seen in the previous results also, there are many students, good students who study well, they can easily score 100 out of 100 in board exam. But yeah, for doing that, you have to take care of few things, right? We cannot take the exam so lightly, okay? If you want to score the full marks. Okay, so how did those students who scored 100, what did they do? Okay, so they didn't do anything great. It is just normal studies we have to do. But yes, we have to take care of few small things. As you must have heard this proverb, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. So we have to do the routine things, but in a slightly different manner. So let's see what are the things we have to take care of. First of all, understand the exam itself. Okay, which exam we are going to write. The final exam which we are going to write, the written exam will be of 80 marks, isn't it? So there are 36 questions that you have to solve in 3 hours. So these are the 36 questions that will decide your score in final exam, which will give you marks out of 80. The remaining 20 marks will be the internal marks, which will be given by the school. Now the school will decide on what basis and on which assignments or which practicals they have to conduct to give the 20 marks. So that depends on school. So today we'll discuss about only the 80 marks that are there in the written exam. So let us understand what are the things we have to take care of. So in today's session, we'll discuss these three things majorly. So the first thing is paper pattern, chapter-wise weightage, and time management. Then we'll see the general tips to excel in maths. We'll also discuss how to revise at the last moment. We can take the help of RoboMate Plus app for doing that. So let us see the paper pattern. Now, since you're already given semi-prelim exams, you are already aware about the paper pattern. You're also aware about the sample paper which was given by CBSE board. Okay, so those are the things which I'm just going to tell you in short very quickly. So this is the first year where the CBSE board has slightly changed its pattern. So let us see what is the pattern for the basic and standard maths. So in the 80 marks of written exam, there are two sections, section A, that is part A, and part B. So in the first section, that is section A, there will be 1 mark questions. Okay, there will be 16 questions of 1 mark each. So it will give you a total of 16 marks. Now there is one new category which is introduced this year, that is the case study. Now, there will be 4 case study questions. Each of them will be for 4 marks, and in total it will give you 16 marks. So now this is something new that you have to understand. But let me tell you, this is a very simple part, case study. Okay, you can say that each case study question is combination of 4, or you can say 5 1 mark questions, and out of those 5 1 mark questions you have to attempt any 4. So if I start with the first question of case study, let us say question number 17. In that 17 questions, 17th question, there will be 5 sub questions, and out of 5 sub questions we have to attend or attempt any 4. So basically there are questions which are of 1 mark weightage. So it is not anything difficult. It is very simple. In fact, if you see the weightage for 1 mark question, it is 16 plus 16, 32 marks now. Okay, out of it. That is part A. Then part B contains 2 marks, 3 marks, and 5 marks questions. So the 2 marks question, there will be 6 questions. The total weightage will be 12 marks. 3 marks questions will be there, 7 3 marks question. The total weightage will be 21 marks. And there will be questions for 5 marks also, and there will be 3 questions for 5 marks, and the total will be 15 marks. So this is how the paper pattern will be. Okay, so since you have already given exams, this is the paper pattern. We'll also see the weightage for each chapter wise weightage. Now, as per the notification given by the CBSE board, they don't specify marks per chapter, but they specify marks per group of chapter. So the board has combined the chapters in groups and they have given weightage to those groups. So the first group is linear real number and polynomials. It will contain 6 marks. It will have 6 marks. Then the second group is linear equation, quadratic equation, and EP, which will be of 20 marks. Third group will be coordinate geometry, only one chapter, coordinate geometry, for 6 marks. Fourth group will be triangles, circle, and construction, the entire geometry part. Triangles, circle, and construction. So this will be 15 marks. Next group is trigonometry. That will be introduction of trigonometry as well as applications of trigonometry for 12 marks. Next group is mensuration, or we can say the questions from surface area and volume and area related to circles. That will be of 10 marks. And the last group is statistics and probability of 11 marks. So this is the group-wise weightage of 80 marks. Okay. Now, though we don't have the specific chapter-wise weightage, but if we see the previous year's paper and the sample paper, we can calculate ourselves that since out of 15 there are 8 geometry chapters, so I can tell you approximately what will be the weightage of each chapter. So if we start with triangles, chapter number 6, triangle will have weightage of 8 marks. Coordinate geometry 6 marks. Introduction to trigonometry 4 marks. Some applications of trigonometry 8 marks. Circles 4 marks. Construction 3 marks. Areas related to circles 4 marks. Surface area and volume 6 marks. So this is the chapter wise weightage. Now this cannot be exact. This may not be exact because this is the weightage of the group, but approximately it will be like this. So if you see this introduction to trigonometry and application of trigonometry, as I told you, this trigonometry group gives you 10 marks. Okay, so this will be for 10 marks, right? It may be 5 and 7, sorry, 12 marks. 8 plus 4 is 12 marks. So it may be 5, 7 or 4, 8. It can be like that, but the group will have 12 marks. So approximately the weightage will be like this. Okay, now from this chart, we understand which are the most important chapters of geometry. So as you can see, chapter 6, triangle, it has the weightage of 8 marks. So we have to do it very well. Also, some application of trigonometry. Fine. So these two chapters are there which has the maximum weightage. Fine. So we have to do these two thoroughly. We also have to do other chapters properly. So from this chart, we get one more idea. And from analyzing the paper, we can understand that the question, the case study questions, which is the new type this year. Most of the case study questions will be asked from either coordinate geometry, triangles, surface area and volume, and applications of trigonometry. So I'm talking about geometry part. Okay, there will be 4 case study questions. 2 will be algebra chapters and 2 will be geometry chapters. So when we talk about geometry chapters, now these are the 4 chapters, okay, from which the chances of case study questions are very high. Okay, so these are the 4 chapters. So whatever questions you have available of case study from these 4 chapters, you have to solve them properly. Fine. At the end of the question paper, the last 3 questions, which are of 5 marks. Out of those 3 questions of 5 marks, there will be 2 5 marks questions from geometry part. Okay, and for those 2 questions, these are the 3 important topics: triangles, some applications of trigonometry, and surface area and volume. So we can expect 5 marks question from these 3 chapters. So if you want to do case study very well, so these are the 4 chapters. If you want to do 5 marks questions very well, so these are the 3 chapters. So you have to do all the 5 marks questions from these chapters and all the case study questions from these chapters. These are there are very high chances of questions being asked from this chapter. Okay, I'm talking about case study and 5 marks questions. Okay, now we'll talk about time management, because it is very important to complete our paper on time, and also we have to give some time to check our paper. So since we already seen there are 2 sections, A and B. In A, there are 2 types of questions, 1 mark question and case study. And in section B, there are 3 types of questions, 2 marks, 3 marks, and 5 marks. So the number of questions are 16, 4, 6, 7, and 3 from each part. The total questions are 36. So we have to complete these 36 questions in the allotted time. We have to also take out some time to check our paper. So the total marks of 1 mark questions are 16. Case study questions are 16. 2 mark questions is 12. 3 mark questions is 21 and 5 mark questions is 15. So the total of 80 marks. As you know, we have 3 hours to complete this paper. So what is the ideal time that we should allot to each question so that our paper gets completed on time? Okay, so we can apply a very simple strategy. We'll give 2 minutes for 1 mark. It is as simple as that. If the question is of 1 mark, we can give it 2 minutes. If it is for 3 marks, we can give 6 minutes. So the first question, that is section A, 1 mark, that is question number 1 to 16, we can allot 32 minutes for this part. Okay. Same way for the case study questions, we can allot 32 minutes because it is of 16 marks. For 2 marks question, for all the 6 2 marks questions, we can allot total of 24 minutes. 3 marks questions, which have the weightage of 21 marks, we can allot 42 minutes. And 5 mark questions, which have the weightage of 15 marks, we can allot 30 minutes. So if you follow this simple strategy, if you calculate the time, it is 160 minutes. Okay, so out of 3 hours, that is 180 minutes. If we utilize 160 minutes, we still have 20 minutes to check our paper. Okay, and this is very important to have extra time in our hand. Okay, so when you are solving the first part, you have to be very specific about the time. You cannot be solving the first part for like 45 minutes or 50 minutes. It cannot be like that. You have to keep track of time also throughout the exam. Okay, then what to do in those 20 minutes? Okay, now let me tell you one thing. I have told you 20 minutes, but this is the ideal scenario. Even if you are left with 12 to 15 minutes, that is also good. Anything about 10 minutes is good. 20 minutes is ideal. Okay, now in those 20 minutes we can do few important things like checking the question numbers. Most of the time students skip the question number and they may lose marks because of that. You can always check if you have written every detail carefully, like checking the graph detail. You can check the coordinate planes. You can check the measurements on the geometrical figures. You can check all the calculations, because it happens most of the time that we do silly mistakes in calculating multiplication, addition. We can make silly mistakes. So you can check the calculations once again so that you'll be sure about your final answer. We can see if the final answer for all the calculation based questions are written properly. We should also write the proper answers with proper units wherever necessary. We have to check the proof based terms. Now in proof based term, what happens is there is always a reason which is expected. So we should also mention the reasons properly when we are writing any proof based question or any theorem. Next thing that we can do is, for construction, you can check whether the given measurements are given written or not, and proper labeling, naming is given or not. So that was the first part, that is paper pattern, chapter wise weightage and time management. Okay, so this is how we are going to appear in the exam. This is what we are going to do in the exam. But before going to the exam, we have to do the preparation very well, isn't it? Okay, just by knowing the paper pattern, we cannot get full marks. We have to prepare ourselves very well. So what are the things that we should take care of while preparing for mathematics? So let's see what are the things to take care of. So the first thing is we have to make a proper timetable. Okay, a proper timetable we have to prepare, and it should be an easy timetable. It cannot be like we'll sleep only for 4 hours and we'll study like 15 hours or so. It is not like that. You have to make a proper timetable, an easy timetable, but it should be a proper, well thought out timetable, so that you can at least give when you're not going to school and when you're not going to classes, when you're at home. At least on those days you can study around 7 to 8 hours at least. Okay, minimum, like that. That's the first thing. Second, you have to revise all the formulae and important topics regularly. Third, and the most important thing, you have to practice NCERT textbook properly. Now let me be very specific about mathematics. Now if you really want to score full in mathematics, the first thing that you have to do is NCERT textbook. Each and every question of NCERT textbook must be done. All the solved examples must be solved. Okay, along with that, if when you are done with NCERT, the second thing that you should do is NCERT exemplars. Okay, so you can easily download those NCERT exemplars from the website of CBSE, and you can solve those questions. Now, NCERT exemplar questions are one level ahead of NCERT textbook. So you'll get the exposure to the questions which are of 3 marks or 5 marks. Okay, and since this is prescribed by NCERT itself, so this is a very reliable and very good source for your board exam preparation. So the after NCERT textbook, second is NCERT exemplar. And if you still want to do more in mathematics, you can refer other books also, but you don't have to solve each and every question from them. Like for example, RD Sharma, if you take, there are many questions in that. If you have so much of time, then only you do that. If you don't have that much of time, then don't do each and every question. Instead of that, you do all the questions which were asked in the previous board exams. Okay, like that you can do. Okay, so our sequence should be first is NCERT textbook, second is NCERT exemplar. And if you have time, then only you take other books like Oswal or RS Agrawal. You can take that only when you have time. And also do questions which are relevant to board exam. Like जो पिछले exam में जो आया था, पिछले कुछ years में आया था, वैसे ही examples आप solve कर. Next thing is practice variety of questions from different topics to master each concept. Yes, we don't have to leave any concept. हर एक concept का हमें questions पूरी तरह से solve करना है. Next is give extra attention to the topics which with higher marks of weightage. As I already told you, chapters like triangle, applications of trigonometry, surface area and volume, they have a high weightage, so you have to give them proper attention. Next point, a very important point, we have to solve sample papers to gain confidence and follow time management. You see, the final exam will be of 3 hours, and whatever you do in that exam will be only counted towards your final score. Whatever you have done throughout the year, whatever you have scored in your unit test or semester or prelim, that won't matter. The only thing will matter is the performance in final exam. So since we are going to write the exam for 3 hours, we should be very well prepared to write. We should have that writing habit, and we should also have the habit of managing time properly. So to master the final exam, we have to practice that final exam many times, and that can be done only by solving the sample papers. So there are many sources of sample paper now. You can check the CBSE website where you will find at least 10 sample papers. You can also purchase sample papers from the bookshop, which will be in the book format, that is the hard copy. So you can get those sample papers. I would suggest you have to solve a minimum of 10 sample papers for each subject. That means for math, at least you should solve minimum of 10 sample papers, and which is very much possible. Okay, since we have 1 month left in our hand, there is enough time for us to solve at least 10 papers of each subject. Even if you solve 2 papers every day, you'll be easily completing 10 papers in each subject. So please do that paper solving. And when you're solving the paper, it would be good if you do that in the exam time itself. For example, if your exam time is going to be 11 to 2, say. Okay, so at that time also, only you should sit and write the exam. So you'll get used to that timing also. Fine. Next thing, do not study too much at the last moment. Allow vacant space to your brain to relax and tune itself for peak performance. Now just understand one thing. Nobody can score 100 out of 100 by studying at the last minute. So if you really want to do it, you have to study consistently and continuously from now onwards, from now itself. Okay, there is no point in studying at the last minute. You will only overstress yourself. Okay, so do not study just before the exam. If you're well prepared in advance, then you won't face this problem. The key to success is practice, practice, and practice. So as I said, whatever you do in the final exam will be only counted towards your result. So we should be habited to, we should have that habit of writing the exam. So write down the paper, sample papers, as many papers as possible. While attempting the paper, just take care of few things. First, read the paper thoroughly in the allotted reading time of 15 minutes and mark the sums which you are familiar. So you'll understand when you see the paper, you'll understand which are the questions I can easily solve. I can very quickly solve. Then solve the question paper in the given sequence. In case you do not know the answer to a particular question, then leave the space for that and go on the next question without wasting much time. Though there is no restriction of following the sequence, but it is always better that we write down in the given sequence. That will be easier for the paper corrector to check your paper. Okay, because marks are in the hands of corrector only. So we have to take care of the corrector also, and we should follow the proper sequence which is there in the textbook. Oh, sorry, in the question paper. So follow the sequence which is given in the question paper. Even if you are not sure about any question, you can leave some space and you can come back to it and solve that question later. If you do not know the complete solution to a particular question, then at least write down the known steps. Now, it may happen that there is a proof-based question that you want to prove something. You know few steps, but then you are not able to recollect the next step. So at least you solve half or 1/3 or 1/4 of the question at least, so that you will get the marks for those steps. Even in mathematics, though the final answer matters, but still, even if you have written the correct steps, you will get partial marks. Like if the question is for 3 marks, at least you'll get 1 or 1.5 marks for writing the partially correct answer. That doesn't mean we'll write anything. If you are not sure about any question, just write down the known steps. The next thing is review your answer sheets in the last 20 minutes, as we already discussed. So we'll manage the time accordingly, and we'll check our paper at the in the last 20 minutes. The next part is revision. Now see, we have studied throughout the year. We have completed almost 15 chapters of mathematics. Now it is not possible for us to do each and every chapter completely again. Okay. So first of all, you have to understand on which topics you need to revise. So I'll show you a few shortcuts to revise. For example, if you take the chapter triangle. Now in this chapter triangle, these are the concepts. Okay. Basic proportionality theorem, converse of basic proportionality theorem, criteria of similarity, areas of similar triangles, Pythagoras theorem, similarity in right angle triangles, converse of Pythagoras theorem. The entire chapter is based on these 7 concepts. So if you are not able to solve any question, understand that we have the problem in that concept. For example, if you are not able to solve questions based on areas of similar triangle, or we can say the question based on right angle triangles, we are not able to prove similarity. So you have to understand that we have the problem in similarity in right angle triangles. So what you can do is you can follow this chart and you can directly go to module number 76. For example, if you have doubt in similarity of right angle triangle, you can just refer to module number 76, which will take 6 minutes and 29 seconds. And if you revise all these modules in 51 minutes, that means you have completed revision of triangle. So you don't have to do each and everything. You just have to follow these concepts. Okay, so this is how you can study. Now in this year, there are few concepts which are deleted also. So from this chapter triangles, the proof of similarity of areas of, the proof of areas of similar triangles is deleted. Only the proof of areas of similar triangles is deleted, and the proof of converse of Pythagoras theorem is deleted. Otherwise, everything else is still there. Okay, so from this concept list, everything is there. Next chapter is coordinate geometry. So there are formulae, distance formula, section formula for internal division, midpoint formula. There is one more formula, area of triangle, but that is deleted for this year. So you have to study these 3 concepts, revise these 3 concepts properly, and then you may start solving questions based on that. Next topic is introduction to trigonometry, where we see the definitions of trigonometric ratios. Then we see the relations between trigonometric ratios. Then we have to understand how to derive the trigonometric table. Complementary angles, this concept of complementary angles has been deleted. And the most important thing is trigonometric identities, model number 40, that you have to understand. So these are the 4 concepts that you have to study from this chapter. Okay, so if you want to solve a paper based on trigonometry, or you want to start writing a sample paper and you are not sure about, you have doubts in trigonometry, so what you can do is you can just revise these concepts, and that this should be sufficient for you to help in solving the papers based on trigonometry. The next is some applications of trigonometry. Now this is a very, very important topic. Okay, there are 2 concepts, angle of elevation, angle of depression. Okay, and then there are many questions based on that. So understand these 2 concepts, watch these 2 modules from each concept. Like from angle of elevation, you can watch 2 and 5. Angle of depression, you can watch 2 and 5. Now why 2 and 5? Because in model number 2, explanation of angle of depression is given, and model number 15, there's an important question based on angle of depression is given. Okay, so this is a concept where you have to do the concept also, but you should also know the way of solving the question, right? So that's why here we have mentioned module of explanation and also the question based on that. Next is circles. In circle, we have radius perpendicular to tangent and tangent from external point. So these are the two concepts. You just see the concepts. There is also theorem radius. There is also a theorem based on tangents from external point. We can prove that the two tangents are equal. Even that theorem we can practice. Next chapter, surface construction. Now in this construction chapter, we have to understand division of line segment, which is there in the first exercise. To construct similar triangles, which is there in the first exercise 11.1, this has been deleted for this year. So we don't have to construct similar triangles, but we have to construct tangent to a triangle, to a circle. Okay, and we have to also construct tangent from external point. So there are three modules in three concepts from this chapter. Next chapter is area related to circle. This chapter is completely based on the formulae. So you have to understand each and every formula. So the concepts here are first the circle, then we have area of sector, length of arc, area of segment of a circle. So whenever you are doing this chapter, area related to circle, so you should know each and every formula. So what we can do for the formulas is you prepare a table in which you will write down these formulae in a tabular form. A proper table you have to maintain for the formulae for this chapter, and you have to revise that table daily. At least you read it daily, or if you want to write it again, write it in a book. Okay, so you at least revise it daily. If you do it daily, in the next 30 days, you will have each and every formula by heart. You will not have to, mug up the formula one day before the exam. So you can do that for this chapter. Next chapter is again based on formulas, that is surface areas and volumes. So here we have the concept of cuboid, cube, cylinder, cone, frustum of a cone, sphere and hemisphere, out of which frustum of the cone is deleted. Okay, and all the questions based on frustum of the cone are also deleted. So here the only thing is you should know each and every formula. So for this chapter also you have to prepare a proper table. So there are two tables you have to prepare. First for areas related to circle and second for surface areas and volume. So prepare this table and revise it daily so that you will have all the formulas by heart. Now preferable order of revision of chapter. Now when you're revising the entire portion, okay, maybe before writing the sample paper or before writing the exam, how to start and which chapter to start with, that's a confusion. Okay, it is up to you which chapter you are suitable with, okay, which flow you are suitable with, but I'm just suggesting you one path, okay, which most of the students find easy. So let's see if you also find it easy. If you do, you can follow this. It's just a suggestion. So the first thing you can start with is introduction and application of trigonometry and coordinate geometry, because these three chapters are more based on formula. Okay. Next chapter you can do is linear equations, real numbers and statistics. Next group that you can take is triangles, circles and construction. Next group you can take is quadratic equations, probability, polynomials. Then areas related to circle, surface areas and volumes and AP. So this is the flow in which you can go when you are revising. Okay, it is up to you. If you want to make any changes in this, you can, but this is the easiest sequence that most of the students find it easy. So it's a suggestion for you. Now, okay, so you have to properly set your goal, what you want to achieve. Then you have to make a plan for it. As I said, you have to make a proper timetable. Okay, you have to properly give time to each and every subject, each and every topic. You have to work to get there. It's not like if timetable bana diya to ho gaya. No, if you do the timetable, you have to follow it properly. You have to stick to it. You have to do it on consistently daily basis. At the end, you will reach your goal. Okay, so let me tell you, getting 100 out of 100 in maths is not difficult. You can easily do it. You just have to follow these 5 points. Okay, set your goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach your goal. And I'm sure everybody, all of you, will be able to score full marks in mathematics. Okay, so I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the essay next year. All the best, all of you. Thank you so much.